Ritesh, a lot of people know you as the founder of Oyo. And after doing 2 to 3 podcasts, what I realized is that the entrepreneur is known for his successful venture, but he's actually a result of the learnings that he has acquired from the failed ventures. And when I did my research, I found that you were selling SIM cards to earn money. Why were you selling SIM cards?
Look, I talked about it recently in Nikhil's podcast, but today I'll use this opportunity to go far deeper into this. We are a family of 4 siblings. I'm the youngest of the lot. The elder 3 are sort of Asian parents' dream. Engineers, 2 of them went to business school, got good jobs, married in time. So every tick mark that you can imagine. I was always a little bit of the rebel you may consider with or without a cause. So I always wanted to try and do something new. So when I was in my 3rd or 4th grade, I saw that there was probably the first computer that came to school. And there was a lot of enthusiasm around it. Only students above 6th or 7th grade were allowed to use it. So my life's mission became, how can I sort of get access to it sooner? So I would reach out to the computer teacher who had nothing to do with me, and I would say कि मुझे सिखा दो, like, can I learn a little bit? Can I do something about helping you to do your job? And eventually, as life would have it, I learned some basic programming. I was able to get access to the computer lab sooner. So I was constantly, this kid was trying to do something new, something different. And you'll always find them in a classroom. In a classroom, there will always be those few kids who are constantly thinking, मुझे कुछ अलग करना है, I have to do something different. I was always that kid. Now, I heard the word entrepreneurship for the first time when I was also still in my 3rd or 4th grade. Between me and my eldest sister, there's probably almost 8 years or a higher age difference, 8 years roughly. So मैं शायद 3rd या 4th grade में होऊंगा, and she had just got into a +2. So in Odisha, a lot of students go to the +2 format of education, not the 11th and 12th grade equivalent. So she goes to her +2, and then they have an event which is an entrepreneurship event. So she's back from her college, and she says, we have an entrepreneurship event. I had never heard about this word. So I go figure out the dictionary and I read about the word. I remember hazily, it said, entrepreneurs are people who solve problems and create a business around it. I thought, ye theek hai, this is what I want to become. Not because what it meant was interesting, just because it was something new. And then sort of came this perspective of SIM card, right? So telecom was in its rapid growth phase in India. The only telecom service provider available, maybe before the early 2000s in places like Odisha, was BSNL. There used to be a BSNL telephone exchange. People would go there, receive SIM cards, things like those. Very expensive to use. I think Airtel was one of those challenger companies which was just getting started. It was a startup at that point of time, which was wanting to disrupt the broader telecom arena by making it easy to get SIM cards in the hands of people or telephones in the hand of people, making it cheaper for them, and while making sure that the experience is of high quality. So let me give some examples of what that period was like. So around the time when I started selling SIM cards, for every month of validity, you needed to spend 200 rupees of recharge time. Okay. So just for a validity. That's when they launched a program called Airtel Lifetime Prepaid, where they said, now you have lifetime prepaid, right? So zindagi bhar ke liye you can continue. So you need to only buy talk time. You don't need to buy any more validity. Weirdly, when I started Oyo again, I thought that the 999 program worked very well for me when I sold SIM cards. So Oyo started at 999.
Okay, what do you mean 999?
Price of the
price.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you remember back in the day when Oyo had started, our advertisements used to be you get a clean, comfortable room starting at 999.
Oh, so Airtel was also selling these SIM cards at a lifetime prepaid cost of 999.
Correct.
Okay.
Then I'll give you another example. You'd see a lot of little stores have the red signages of Airtel, right? Red color backlit signages. I used to sit on the back of little vans and take these signages to install them on the shops who I was selling SIM cards to. That inspired me to sort of, when I was starting Oyo, now when you drive around India, it's impossible to miss an Oyo signage. That inspired me to put the red Oyo signages on our hotels. So while it may seem like it was just a 2-year summer holidays thing of SIM cards, it left a lasting impact on me and my decisions over a period in my lifetime. I started doing this in my 6th grade during summer school, summer holidays, partly because there was nothing much to do and I was this rebel who wanted to try and do everything new I could. Telecom was new, telecom was exciting. It was the closest that any business in a town like Raigada, where I come from, came to having any access to technology. So I thought, kuch naya hai, I want to do something about it, and I enjoyed every part of it. And I think I can go on probably for an hour about how experiences there have changed my life. But I think if I have to summarize them, understanding the small business owner in India, I think would not have happened if not for my Airtel stint. Because if you see global telecom companies, they mostly distribute using their own retail stores, right? So you'll see AT&T stores, Sprint stores, and so on. India is probably one of those rare markets. I would say Indian companies have then gone and replicated this in Africa, where the distribution is not through their own retail stores. It's through the kirana shops, the telecom stores. Now, of course, internet is also adding in, but still a large part of the distribution still happens through, general trade, where kirana stores, small telephone shops are the ones retailing out SIM cards, mobile phones, and so on. And I think my time period of selling SIM cards for Airtel taught me this.
How much money did you make out of it?
Well, I don't remember, but what I do remember is the first time I made a 2,000 rupee income by selling a few SIM cards. I came and gave to my mom and I said, this is my first income. As you know, you're naive and innocent, and my mom still has it with her.
Really?
She still has that 2,000 rupees. I was
Wow.
recently, we were moving houses, and mom was moving something, and in one of them she pulled out and she showed the same 2,000 rupees that she has from back then. So I think, like the first earning is special, as you can imagine. Similarly, at Oyo, our first client, I've been searching her for my lifetime. I've still not found her. There was this client who came in. They were performing at a Gurgaon event center, and this was a group of artists, and they spent 70,000 rupees to book 3 nights, take over the full hotel. I still have the printout of that check. Like, I took a Xerox. I, of course, banked that check because 70,000 was very important then. But I have that framed with me, the printout. So I think the first earnings personally and for your business are always the most special.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching the Indian Business Podcast. If you find value in our work, please hit that subscribe button, because for you it might be a zero effort task, but for us that subscriber count is an important instrument to get great guests to our podcast and to make this podcast better for you. So if you find value, please subscribe.